ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another beer review. Today I am going to go for the first one from our delivery that got the other day that you might see in the unboxing video for. This is the Rogue Mocha Porter by the Rogue Brewery, for the Rogue in each of us. These guys are self-described as kind of trying to bring about a bit of a revolution in beer. They believe that if you can't make a beer that is both unique and innovative, but also doesn't compromise on the traditional crafting style of, or traditionally how you craft a beer, then it's not worth making. So they kind of go hand in hand with what I like. I like beers that are a bit out there, that kind of push the boundaries of what is seen as traditional brewing. The English brewing scene's very traditional, to say the least. Not that those are bad beers; they are very good beers. Done with a lot of pride and passion, but I quite like innovation. I like trying different flavours and different things. So I chose from them the Rogue Porter, Mocha Porter I should say, which has won a couple of awards, I believe. One in 2011 from the World Beer Awards, if I'm right. I think this fella, it doesn't actually say it on the bottle at all, but I believe it's 5.3-5.5%, something along those lines. Just got the guy doing the revolutionary pose with his fist in the air. Lovely dark bottle and a nice little cap with Rogue saying to the Rogue in each of us on the top of it. So without further ado, let's crack this fella on open, see what we get. Oy. Not much way in the smoke, there's quite a lot of bubbling going on in the glass there. Pour it on out. Ooh, loads of head, bubbling away like mad there. Some quite big bubbles in the top, and that is a good, probably a good three or a two and a bit, three maybe finger head. Really dark colour beer as well. There's not much light coming in the way of light coming through it, even if I hold it up there. No, and it's a nice little tan coloured head as well. And the head is dissipating quite quickly actually, and leaving loads of big bubbles going on along the top. So it's a very traditional looking kind of porter, which isn't a bad thing. That's what I'd expect from a St. Porter, pitch black, dark as the night. So let's get our nose in and have a smell. Yeah, it's full of lovely bitterness on the nose, almost kind of like a coffee smell, like maybe a roasted coffee smell, and an absolute abundance of chocolate as well, as I would expect. I mean, living up to its name there, Mocha Porter, it definitely smells chocolatey, it definitely smells of coffee. And there's a little bit of something extra as well, maybe. Maybe a bit of smokiness. It's kind of smokiness, that's probably the right word. It's a little bit acrid on the smell as well. That bitterness kind of goes past just being a normal bitter hoppy smell and almost smells burnt, but in a good way. Charred, shall we say, charred. Yeah, quite a bit of charring, nice chocolate, and a kind of deep coffee smell as well. So without further ado, let's take a good old swig and see what we find. Yeah, that's full of a delicious chocolatey malty body. The initial taste is quite bitter and dry. I wonder if it's that almost burnt smoky flavour right at the forefront. A real distinct bitterness and carbonation on the tongue. Really fizzy carbonation, it kind of tastes almost burnt like or charred like, and then a nice chocolatey mellow body follows through, and then the aftertaste come at the end is a distinct coffee taste, a distinct coffee bitterness as well. That sort of mouth drying bitterness that you get when you have a good strong espresso kind of coffee. In terms of mouthfeel, it's a bit watery actually. It's a lot lighter than I was expecting. A bit disappointing in terms of mouthfeel. It's more medium bodied, so it's not completely light. It's not as light as a really nice pale ale or something of the sort. It's got a bit more body to it. Obviously, because it's using a much darker malt, it's kind of have to have a bit more body. It'd be disappointing if it didn't. But it's quite watery in respects. I'm just going to pour the rest out. It's not bottle fermented, I know that much, so I highly doubt if that's going to do anything really. But just in case I'm missing something. Not really, no. I was just double checking, really. So yeah, I am just getting a predominant kind of a smokiness at the start and a smoky bitterness right at the fore. Quite a lot of carbonation on the tongue, quite rough carbonation, which is an interesting texture. Nice chocolatey malts, and then dissipating into a nice coffee bitterness afterwards as well. The only thing I'm not huge on with this is that it's watery. It's quite disappointing because it just feels like it should be more chunky. It feels like it's not going to where it wants to be. It feels like it will be better, and this is me with a preference for higher strength beers. It feels like it wants to have a bit more alcohol presence in it, a bit more body, something like that to give it a bit more chunkiness. If it was an imperial, a Russian imperial style, or even just a slightly stronger one, maybe 7 or 8 rather than 10 or 12, you'd have a little bit more presence and body and a little bit more kapow to it, which it just kind of misses a little bit at the current state. Having said that, it's a pleasant porter. The flavours are interesting. That kind of smoky bitterness and carbonation on the tongue is an extra bit of texture that's pleasant that you don't find in some porters and stouts. You tend to find more creaminess in other ones. This one's a bit more heavy hitting on the tongue, I suppose, but the mouthfeel is just off. It's just a little bit too watery. So you see, I would think if it was a little more thicker, that kind of fizzy tongue sensation would be really nice additions. You get a nice thick chunky flavour and then bubble on the tongue would balance really nicely. The rest of the beer is very balanced. It's a very malty beer, obviously. Hops aren't really going to come through much, but the residual bitterness is obviously the hop flavour coming through, and that's where they're getting the coffee taste from, I assume, unless they are using coffee in this as well. But the bitterness is very nice, and the maltiness is very nice as well. It's not overly chocolatey, it's not overly coffee-like. Fantastic, well balanced in that respect. Just the wateriness is put me off. Not off. It's just disappointing me a little bit. So a very nice beer. If you all go out and try it, I'm sure you wouldn't be disappointed. It's definitely nice. It's a nice, just chillaxing beer. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. Not one of the best I've ever tried. Certainly not the worst I've ever tried. Just think it could be, has the potential to be quite a lot better. So thank you very much for watching another beer review. Got plenty of beers coming up soon. You've seen the unboxing video already. There's another 11 beers to go through there. Sorry, another 10 beers to go through there. And then I also did a visit up to Black Sheep Brewery. Unfortunately, the video footage I got wasn't brilliant. I didn't manage to capture much. I didn't manage to get an interview either. So that was a bit of a disappointment. But the flip side is that I managed to get some really exclusive beers from them. I got an Imperial Stout, which is interesting because that's they do very traditional English style beers, and a high percentage stout isn't one that's in their repertoire. It's a limited edition one, and also got, I think it's called Progression, which is a 20th anniversary beer that they produced, 20th anniversary last year or the year before, of the Black Sheep Bitter, and it's a single hop beer and it's 10%, so it's a real strong beer for these guys who usually don't produce beer that strong. So keep watching and subscribe and like and favourite the videos. Spread the word. Bear needs some loving. Bear needs some loving. And keep your eyes open for the beers in the future. Thank you ever so much, and good night.